back, dang it.
Oh.
Sup, sinners? I feel like what was that character that Al Pacino played? Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. Man, I ain't trying to be here.
I know.
I'm trying to get off of YouTube. It's like, they don't want me there. YouTube don't want me on YouTube. Facebook don't want me on Facebook. And I'm trying to get off of there, man. And look, YouTube, Facebook, trust me, I'm trying to get off y'all's page. And I just want to use my website, man. I don't know why it is, man, but just my connection won't handle it, right? And what sucks is that on Mac, when they do those uploads or those upgrades, updates for the operating system, stuff goes wonky. And like one of the things, and I had my adapter so I could be Ethernet connected, and now my Ethernet ports don't work because of the update. I can't use an adapter. That's why I'm not Ethernet connected.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm dependent. I'm back to being dependent on the Wi-Fi until I find it, and it sucks, because you want to use. It's like I can go get another adapter, but because I guess even what did I use? Insignia for the adapter. It's like I don't know if they saw this coming, but I called Insignia and it's like, dude, what's up? And they're like, yeah, when Catalina updated, it rendered the ports for the adapter, obsolete.
That's great.
Can't use that anymore, so I can't even use my Wi-Fi. My Ethernet connection to do these. So at any rate, y'all, man, I'm trying. It's like I don't want to feed the monster. I want to get off Facebook, man. It's like like I was saying earlier, one of the reasons why I stay on Facebook and I stay on YouTube is because, for those who say don't preach to the choir, it's like, well, trust me, man, if I'm on YouTube and Facebook, I ain't preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and anybody who says they're preaching to the choir, it's like, you might not have noticed how dirty they done me. Okay? I'm getting punished, for speaking outside of the choir. So at any rate, Facebook and YouTube, as much as they're squashing my content, y'all trust me, I'm trying to get off of here. I don't want to feed the monster anymore. I want to get off of these platforms. So I'm trying to stream from my website, but I was, for some reason, the connectivity to do that.
We're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like no matter what I do, it just won't hold up.
Yeah.
So as it is, I gotta come back here, man. But the good thing about it is that you guys are here. You guys still doing here. Why aren't you? Let's get an exodus going away from the Egypt of Facebook.
Yeah.
The Egypt of YouTube. I'd like to get away from it.
The bondage, the slavery.
Right. So, somebody asked, "Are we back on?" As long as the connection will hold up, I suppose.
Yep.
And thank you guys. Thank you so much, because you guys know that I've been dealing with the struggle with the connectivity.
Yeah.
Man, if it was easy, if it was as easy as it seems, trust me, we'd have done it.
Yep.
But for some reason, it's a complicated issue, and it's like no matter, it's like I go through tutorials, I go through all this sort of stuff. Hey, feedback, hey, try this, try that. It's like chances are I've already tried that, and no matter what it is, y'all, it's just a connectivity issue. Yeah. Doesn't matter how cold. It's like right now, even it's like we try to bring and that gets expensive too. Trying to keep the room cool enough.
Yes.
For the connection to be stable, right? It's like my jacket, the carriers over here, like got jackets on, so because it's freezing, right? Because trying to keep the computer cool enough, to be able to transmit with because the CPU, if it gets too hot, it slows everything down, all that sort of stuff. So y'all, we taking all kinds of measures, to make sure that the connection stays stable. And if it was as easy as it seems, we would do it. But for some reason, we keep running these complications because the devil doesn't like what we do.
Absolutely.
Anyway, y'all. Not trying to make a bunch of excuses and stuff like that, but just to give you an example, that's one of the reasons. I'm kind of like I'm not a full-on operation here. I don't have a staff and IT. People who do this sort of stuff for me. But at any rate, all that to say, thank you guys. Thank you for hanging in there with us. For all these years.
Hi, fellowshippers.
And I see. Let's see, Alvin. Yeah, indeed, we do need. We do need conservative platforms, but I'm going to repeat this, y'all. It's not just about conservative social media or conservative media sharing platforms, y'all. It's the search engine.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's the other big issue, and the search engine is in everything, and it influences a whole bunch of stuff. So you can even go onto there's other like conservative platforms and stuff like
and
that.
Christian ones.
All that stuff is affected by search engines, y'all.
Yeah.
Like when people tell me that well, why don't you go on Gavi, or why don't you it's like, y'all, I've been there for I've been there for a few years actually. I've been there for a while. But folks don't know that. It is, or people say, well, why don't you use Patreon and stuff like that? And I'm sorry for repeating this for people who heard me say this 1,000 times. It's like, it doesn't really work out that good, because you can be on Patreon, but if you can't promote that you're there, that's my point.
Yeah.
All that say, y'all, I'm trying to get off these platforms. I want to get off of here. And we do need a platform that really respects people's freedom of speech without letting people abuse. That's the other thing too, y'all. Is because when we talk about respecting freedom of speech, a lot of people really don't understand what that means. They don't really understand what freedom of speech means. They just think freedom of speech means the so-called right to just say and do whatever it is that you want, because you're free to do it. And it's like, just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean that you always do the right thing with it.
That's true.
You know. And that still comes down to, well, what is the right thing? Because these liberals who run these platforms, y'all, they think they're doing the right thing. They think it's their right
they do.
to suppress other people's freedom of speech, because they think that our freedom, that we're using our freedom of speech to be caustic.
Yeah.
That's what they think. See, we're in an impasse of what freedom means.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
That's what y'all, and that's why I get frustrated. Even with conservatives, because conservatives they're hung up on liberty. And when you get hung up on liberty, that's basically an idolization of liberty. It's idolatry.
Yeah.
A lot of conservatives are leaving out who the author of liberty is, and that's what you need to square liberty by, right? That is our filter of liberty. And if we don't have that, y'all, liberty can mean anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we got a lot of conservatives out there, liberty first, and that's when people start to sound like liberals. Because liberals want the freedom to do whatever it is that they want to do.
That's true, yeah.
Right? And not only do liberals want the freedom to do whatever it is that they want to do, they want the liberty to make somebody else pay for it.
Yes.
All right? So that's why, liberty is a liberty's a valuable thing, y'all, but it can be abused. So if we have a platform where it's like, hey, we're going to really respect freedom of speech here, somebody's going to see it as it's not a respecter of freedom of speech.
Yep.
Or if you can have a search engine platform, it's like, well, we're really going to respect all the information here. And if you're having these guidelines of, hey, these kind of things, we may not, where children can get access to it and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to be seen as a suppression of speech and censorship and all that sort of stuff. So there's always going to be this argument. Okay. Yeah. But that's no excuse for not doing it. It's still going to need to be done. Conservatives is something that we need to tap into. Google is a monster.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just a monopoly, y'all. It's a monster, and it is affecting. It's influencing people. It's a spellcaster.
Yeah.
It's blinding people and suckering people in. It's a full-on hoodwinking machine.
Yeah.
Right. It's a bamboozling juggernaut. And it's lying to people, and people are getting the first wave of their so-called information from the search engine that is masking other information out.
Yeah.
Right? You got to dig to get to that stuff, y'all. So, but it's not just about a social media platform. It's not just about a media sharing platform. The search engine itself, and unless we pull that off and have a viable competitor with Google, you can have all the conservative social media platforms you want. We just gonna keep running into the same problem. I think the other thing that would be well to do, y'all, is really tapping into over the top platforms. Got to get on cable. Got to get your little corner on it. It's like on interfacing with television, and make it and try to make the way to cable. And of course, that takes capital and takes content. But that's another way off of the internet. It's like a bunch of people still watch TV, y'all. But as even when I was PJ TV, that was the way that I thought we were going with PJ TV, like a long time ago. When I first started with PJ TV back in 2009, I thought though that's the direction that we were going to be going. I don't know if we never. Well, we kind of got there for a second.
Yeah.
We got there for a second. Yeah, because PJTV partnered up with U2. It was a channel called U2, which I kind of was like, do you really want to call this channel U2? Because it sounds too much like YouTube.
Yeah.
But U2 was a platform, it was like an over-the-top platform, and it was going to be featured on cable, and PJTV was going in the direction of starting to have our stuff featured on cable. I don't know whatever became of that. It didn't really make any sense. And like I said, I was frowning on it. So why are you going to call this U2? It doesn't make any, it's not a good name to go with. But it's still a good idea, y'all, because a lot of people are still on television. And interfacing what you're doing online with TV would be a way to go. But like I said, this still takes capital, and it takes some content to keep people staying interested on that channel. And I'm praying to the Lord that, hey, maybe, that's something that, I or we or whichever can pull off at some point. Because I'm tired of being dependent on these people, man. I've been saying that for years.
Amen.
Anybody thinks that they're telling me something new that we need to get off these platforms. Like, well, Zoe, what did you expect? It's like, no, I've been expecting this for a while.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for a while.
You have. Going back to 2014.
Yeah.
Ending of 2014. You were
earlier. Yeah, even earlier than that.
Come on. That's when you started to get shadow banned.
Yeah.
2014.
This has been a while. And so at any rate, y'all, if you guys heard my earlier broadcast when I was, just trying to do this for my
explain that,
website.
because some people are coming in and going, "Are you just now coming on?"
Oh, yeah.
Come on at 5.
We did start at 5, y'all. Sorry if you guys think that I'm late. We did start at 5, but I tried to stream it from my website. It's just like I said earlier, just a whole bunch of connectivity problems to be able to get it done. It's server issue. I'm not a tech guy, but server issue, connectivity issues. It's just stuff that's not strong enough to do from my little corner of the internet. So you got to have like a big. You got to have like the big ones to do it. From a platform like Facebook. They've already have the industrial strength. To be able to do that when you. So
is it a bandwidth thing? Jason is asking.
It might be. It could be a bandwidth thing. It's all these issues like I've tried to explore, bandwidth, download speeds, upload speeds, temperature, how much RAM it takes, how much is the CPU using, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, just keep running into walls, to try to get it, around it, over it, under it, through it, whichever. It's just, not an easy thing to do. So at any rate, y'all, we're back here on the Facebook. And you guys make it worthwhile being back here.
Amen.
Back here on the YouTube, my YouTube folks. Thank you guys for graciously bearing with us as we try to get back. I'm sorry. I just saw somebody, SM Sedilio, put it in. Today has just been an overall bad day. Hey, well, you know what? Let's turn that frowny upside downy.
Amen.
And as we already prayed it in on the last attempt to do the ZOpium Den. Those I would hope still stand in Yeshua's name.
Yes.
And we'll go ahead and recap. We'll just get right back into this read. And we are on Exodus 31. Dang, man, I feel bad because people missed what I had to say about Biden. It was good, too. It was good. I just don't feel like repeating myself. All I can say is Biden, believe women. All right?
Well, are you going to do a Zoloft?
Yeah, you know what?
Sharing your thoughts.
That's right. I'll reiterate this stuff in the Zoloft. Right now in the ZOpium Den, it's time for the Lord to take the stage. Biden should be getting all the attention that the Lord should be getting.
Amen.
Give that attention to
Sandy,
the Lord.
we're going to take this day back with Yeshua.
That's right. This is a day the Lord has made.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's do it. Okay, 31, Exodus. Then Adonai spoke to Moses saying, see, I have called by name Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, and all kinds of craftsmanship, all kinds of ill stuff, to make ingenious designs, to forge with gold, silver, and bronze, as well as cutting stones and setting and carving wood, to work in all manner of craftsmanship. Also, look, I have appointed with him Aholiab, son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan, with the Lieutenant Dan, with the tribe of Dan, within the hearts of all who are wise-hearted, I have placed skill, so that they may make everything that I have commanded you, the tent of meeting, the ark of the testimony, the atonement cover that is to be in it, all the furnishings and the tabernacle, the table and the utensils, the menorah of pure gold with all of its utensils, the altar of incense, the altar of burnt offerings with all its utensils, the basin and its stand, the woven garments, the holy garments for Aaron and Cohen, the garments for his sons, minister as Kohanim, and the anointing oil, and the incense of sweet spices for the holy place. They are to make them just as I commanded you. Okay, so I read that whole thing, y'all. We're going to backtrack. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in here. All right, just to recap. Remember, this is the tent of meeting. God is just like he says, you are to make them just as how I commanded you. Y'all, this stuff has got to be very, very specific. Why? Because when the Messiah shows up, it's very specific.
Yes.
You're going to be warned about false gods, right? You're going to be warned about false prophets. You're going to be warned about false teachers and stuff like this. So, but this is the criteria. This is the stuff that you need to be looking for, right? You need to get this into your subconscious. You need to understand why this is called the tent of meeting, because it is to prepare you to meet the Messiah when he shows up. Don't get this wrong. All right. So every little detail, y'all, all these details, all this stuff is important. That's why you need to be flipping back and forth from the Old Testament to the New.
Amen.
Because every one of these articles, y'all, no matter how insignificant that you think it is, and don't be trying to make no stretches to make it fit. Don't be trying to pound some square into a round hole. All these things, no matter. But even if it's a small detail, even if it's small, take into consideration that even if it's a small detail, as long as the piece fits, you're not trying to stretch or contort it to make it fit. Every small detail falls into place. All right. So that being said, we take it from here. Let's back up to where it says, then Adonai, we're going to take it from 1. Then Adonai spoke to Moses, right? Moses is up there getting the deets on who Yeshua is. From who? From Yeshua. Yeah. He's getting it right from, I should say, he's getting it right from the lamb's mouth. Okay, I was gonna say from the horse's mouth, but no, he's getting it from the lamb's mouth. In this case, the pre-incarnate Yeshua is going to be represented by Melchizedek, the eternal priest, the eternal king of priests, the eternal king and priest of Salem. All right, Melchizedek basically means king of righteousness. Who is Jesus? He's not righteousness, right? Melchizedek, the king of righteousness, and Melchizedek is the king of Salem, and Salem means priest. Who is Jesus? He is peace, right? Melchizedek is not the eternal priest and king pro tem. All right, he's eternal, and he's going to come to us in the person of Yeshua. He's still God. Melchizedek is the supernatural projection of God that you can see. That's who Moses is talking to. And he's getting the deets on who's going to be showing up. And Moses has to go out there and let the folks know this is how this is going to go down. All right. So God speaks to Moses saying, check this out. See, I have called by name. God's getting specific here. Bezalel. And Bezalel means the protection of God, the shadow of God. Just think of that shadow that's going to come over Christ when we crucify him, and then the sky is going to turn dark, right? The shadow of God. Jesus is under protection of God. Jesus is not only under the protection of God, but Jesus is under the protection of being God. But Jesus, in his humility, still holds himself accountable to God the Father. Amen. All right. So we've got, so Jesus, he's majesty and he's humility. All right. So this is no stretch, y'all, that we're putting these associations in there to see Yeshua connected with these names that have these meanings to them. How deep does that go? Even the devil comes to call out Yeshua for being God's little pet. right? Are you under God's protection? Or really, are you really his son? If you are really his son, blah, 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 right? Comes and talk all this yammering at Yeshua with all this stuff, trying to give Yeshua some riffraff, right? About who he is. But why? Because because Satan wanted to come and call Yeshua out on the protection of God. What did he say to him? Let me back that up, see if I can find that. Go through my horribly organized notes. Let's see. Is that it? Yeah. Ooh, I went to that quick, faster than usual, because I suck at keeping notes. Okay. So it says, for it is written, this is the devil trying to talk some head to Jesus. It is written, he will command his angels concerning you to guard you carefully, and they will lift you up in their hands so that you do not strike your foot against a stone. Right. So we're talking about the protection of God. Right. Is this just a coincidence that the first name listed here is going to be Bezalel, meaning the protection of God? Because God wants you to see who's coming. All right. So, and then, just on a side note, what does Yeshua say? Yeshua says, it is written that you shall not test the Lord your God. Right. So for anybody who tries to say that, Mike's messing up. What's wrong? Is it hot?
Everybody's saying the audio is messing up.
Man, I can't get a break today.
Yeah.
Check. 1, 2. Are people able to make out what I'm saying? Test. How's that? Does my voice sound all nice and velvety now?
Yeah. Can you guys put it in the feed if we're okay now, or?
And you know what's also what also might be messing with the mic, y'all, is the air conditioning, because I got to keep a blower like right on my computer to keep it cool. Because if I don't, the connection will go bad again. But how's that? Does the mic sound better now? Check. 1, 2. Yeah, that does look kind of hot.
Uh-oh. Nobody can hear it yet.
Oh, they can't even hear it?
Let me go back to it. A bunch of people said the audio is audio messing up.
Still messing up?
Breaking up.
Is it still breaking up, or?
Let's see. Glynis says it sounds good. Sporadically. Okay, I guess.
Is it?
Yeah, I think we're back.
All right, we good?
Woo-hoo. Once you start talking about Satan, though, it'll probably mess up again.
I got them demon gremlins, man. I'm telling you, they don't dig what I'm doing. Okay. And dang it, they made me forgot what I was saying.
Oh, no.
Do you remember what I was talking about?
You were talking about when he comes to tempt Yeshua.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So for anybody who tries to say that Jesus never claimed to be God, Jesus claimed his godhood right there. Because what did he say to Satan? It is written, you shall not tempt the Lord your God. Who did Satan come to tempt? Who did he come to test? Who did he come to challenge? Jesus. And what does Jesus say? Don't test me, because I'm God, dude.
Yes.
Right? So we got Bezalel, the protection of God, and then we got Uri, and Uri's name means fiery light. And fiery light is associated with the Urim and the Thummim. So the Urim, as you know, is part of the priestly garments. It's that crystal that glows and stuff, right? So we should have like those little New Agers. You should love that, right? Ooh, crystals and stuff. Okay, so we got Uri, who's going to be associated, and who is Jesus? Jesus is the light, right? And Jesus is righteous judgment, and that's what the Urim and the Thummim were for, right? This light of righteous judgment. And then from there, we're going to have him be the son of Hur, and Hur, that name means white or white stuff. And when Jesus is on the Mount of Transfiguration, what happens? His robe turns dazzling white. And these are things that they're supposed to pick up on. They're supposed to pick up on these things. Okay. And it just so happens that they're going to come from the tribe of Judah. And then God goes on further to say, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, all kinds of craftsmanship, to make ingenious designs, to forge with gold, silver, and bronze, as well as cutting stones for setting and carving wood, to work in all manner of craftsmanship. Okay, So God's letting you know that what are all these articles associated with? The tabernacle. All these things are found in there. All right. So when Jesus, and he's talking about how well their craftsmanship on how to be able to do all these things, how to fix all this sort of stuff, frame it, and all that whatnot. Okay. So Yeshua gets busted saying, yeah, destroy this temple and I'll rebuild it in 3 days. Okay. Jesus can say that because the word of God tells you that he was talking about himself. Now, y'all, this isn't just Yeshua talking in the contemporary where he was. It does mean that, like when Jesus is saying, destroy the temple and I'll raise it up, I'll rebuild it in 3 days. Okay. Yeah, he's talking about what's coming. But y'all remember, he's talking about what was. Destroy this temple, I'll rebuild it in 3 days. And then the scripture says, because he was talking about himself. Because, y'all, the temple represents him. The tabernacle represents him. He is intimately knowledgeable about the tabernacle because he's the one who gave all the skills on how to create it.
True.
Yeah. If the temple is destroyed, yeah, he can rebuild it in 3 days because he's the one who knows how to put it all together. And not only that, God gave him authority to resurrect himself. Can you dig it?
Yeah.
So he's not just talking about what's coming. He's reminding them of who he was in the image of the tabernacle. That's why God says, make this very specific to how I've commanded you, because this tabernacle, the construction of it, all the artifacts involved in it are going to point to Yeshua. That's who you need to be expecting. That's why it's called the tent of meeting, y'all. The tent of meeting. Am I kidding? Check this out. So it's going to go on to say, also, look, I myself have appointed with him Aholidab, the son of Ahisamach. Okay, Aholidab just so happens to mean tent of my father. Come on now. Right? So these things are very, very important. So now, before I go on, check this out. When we're talking about the tent, we're talking about white. We're talking about we're talking about judgment and all this sort of and the light. Let's take it to the Mount of Transfiguration. We got Yeshua, who's going to be transformed. He's going to be flanked by Moses and Elijah. Now, to get you guys to see the importance of the tent, the importance of the tent is here. When the transfiguration took place and Moses and Elijah showed up, what's the first thing that comes to Peter's mind? Man, I need to build tents for y'all. Yeah. But this is what's weird, y'all. He says, I need to build tents for you. You want me to build a tent for each of you? Right? I'm going to build a tent for each of you guys. That's the first thing that comes to his mind.
I always thought that was weird.
And what's even more weird is that it says that he didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The word says, it says that Peter offered to build them tents, but he didn't know what he was saying. It also said that he was scared out of his mind. Yeah. Right? So this is, y'all, I offer that this is what happened. As we read these things, what did it say here at the end of this break here? God is very specific about these things. Y'all, the building the tabernacle, y'all, and the festival therein concerning the Feast of Booths and stuff like that. This stuff is very, very important. This is ingrained in their culture, right? They're steeped in it. Right? So here's the deal. He didn't know what he was saying in his conscious mind. In his conscious mind, he is scared out of his mind. But his subconscious, and does not the word of God say that I'll recall these things? You get this information, I'll recall it to you when you need it. Right? Word of God says that. I'll recall it to you when you need it. So Peter didn't even know what he was saying. And right off the bat, he says, hey, you need me to build some tents? Why did he say build tents? Because he associated the tents with Yeshua. That's why. They're steeped in it, and it's like it was deep. It was in his subconscious, and it came to the surface without him being conscious of it. The only thing he's conscious of is his fear, and out of his subconscious, he spoke because he associated the tent with Yeshua, the tent of meeting, because the tabernacle is the image of Christ, right? So he's like, I need to build a temple for you. He didn't say build one temple, because we don't want to make the mistake of Peter. I'm offering this once again. This is speculation, y'all. I don't think Peter offered to make one tabernacle for the three of them, because that would suggest that he was putting Moses and Elijah on equal plane with Yeshua, right? He offered to build three. Now, one would say, well, was he gambling? Well, I don't know which one is God here. I don't know who should I build a tabernacle for? Yeah, maybe he was just being hospitable, right? But he's not going to put them all in one tabernacle, because that's for Yeshua. And it's not inappropriate to have booths built, because they all had their booths, right? You got your feet, that's booths. So it's not like Peter is like assuming that all three of you are God, or he's putting them on an equal plane. It's just it was a hospitable thing to do. But here's the thing, y'all. In light of how important the tent is and the association that he makes right off the bat, all right, Moses is the guy who was given the instructions on how to build the tabernacle in the first place. Right. So that makes sense. Yeshua represents the tabernacle, or the tabernacle represents him. That makes sense. But what's up with Elijah? Yeah. What's he there for? The reason why Elijah was there, y'all, is because of what they were talking about. And what were they talking about? They were talking about the Exodus. That's what the Word of God says. They were talking about it just so happens that we're in Exodus. Okay? But that's what they were talking about. They're talking about the Exodus. Okay? Now the weird thing is, so you got Moses. Moses was empowered by Christ, right? Pre-incarnate Christ, Melchizedek, God, right? It's still God. That's what Jesus was trying to tell them the whole time. Moses was always talking about me. I'm God, dude. I'm here now. I was there then. I'm gonna be here after that. I'm God. But empowered by God, Exodus was led by Moses. What does Elijah have to do with that? Because Elijah is a representative of the second Exodus. That's what they were there to talk to God about, talk to Christ about. Moses led the Exodus over parted waters. Elijah represents the Exodus that's going to catch us in the air, because Elijah was taken away in a whirlwind, wasn't he? Right? Chariot horses came to get him, and he was gone in a whirlwind. Okay? And it just so happens that when his cloak fell down, Elisha parts the waters with it. Yeah. Kind of like a little callback, a little hat tip to Moses there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, little hat tip to Moses. So Elijah represents the second Exodus. Moses, of course, is the first. Now, they were there to talk to Yeshua about the Exodus, but they were talking about his death. But the weird thing is, the word that they used was Exodus. They didn't use the words thanatos, death, dying, right? They didn't use the word necrosis. These are the Greek words that they could have used. They didn't use those words. They used the word Exodus. They came to discuss the Exodus of Yeshua. Because here's the thing, y'all. Without Yeshua himself, ain't no Exodus for us.
Amen. Amen.
Right? And that's what they came to talk to him about. Right? You got Moses, the first Exodus. Elijah represents the electric Exodus. Right? So we're going to get caught up in the air faster than light. All right? So, anyway, y'all, wanted to point that out to you. When God brings up these names, they're very specific. You got to see these things fall into place. It's like, oh man, what's up with this stuff? Why would he say that? Y'all, these are very specific details. Yeah, they may seem small, but you don't want to look over them small details, right? They're significant, all significant. Okay, so we got cool. Let's see. When we're talking about all the things, it's pointing out to you all the things that are associated with the tabernacle, and all these things represent Christ. So we read all that. I want to talk about we were talking about before I got cut off from my week feed. why is it that God would need to give things like the Urim.
Easy for you to say.
I'm going like through the alphabet. Is it UN, UM, Urim? Okay, the Urim, right? The Urim. Why would God need to give them crystals? Ain't that some pagan stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's like, it's like, what's up with the crystals? God, you getting hippie-ish on us? Anyway, so God he's gonna tell them to make these things, and why is that? Well, if God is there talking with them, he's talking, what do you need? What do you need these other articles for? What do you need crystals for? What do you need all this sort of stuff? Crystals that light up, like it's like, why don't you bust out with a Ouija board and all that sort of stuff to get a yes or no answer? Well, y'all, here's the thing: God covers all the bases. God leaves us without an excuse. That's why. There's no, we're not going to have an excuse because here's the thing, y'all. It's man's nature to seek spirituality in things. We just do that.
Yeah.
Right? So God is like, okay, I know that you're going to look for spirituality in these things. I get it. Okay, it's in your nature to do that. But if you're going to seek spirituality, make sure that you're seeking me. All right? Because God's like, I know that you're going to seek spirituality in things that you can see, things that you can hear. People they find spirituality in things people find spirituality in music. Music is God to some people.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It could be the sound of thunder. People take spirituality in that.
Yeah.
People take spirituality in the sound of whale songs. They hear a whale. It's so spiritual. Right?
Yeah.
They seek spirit. So God, like, yeah, I got that covered. That's why I'm here talking to you. You hear my voice. Right? So we cover the audio angle. Right? God spoke to Moses face to face. So he covered the sight angle, even though you're not even supposed to see God. You die if you see God.
Yeah.
But God made it to where Moses could see him. Melchizedek. Right? So Moses had the visual confirmation. Got the visual, got the audio. I want them incense burning. Right? Do not people seek spirituality in aromatherapy and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, get their incense going for meditation and stuff like that, invoking spirits, right? So God's he's got the fragrance thing covered too, right? Things that you can taste, right? People seek spirituality in food. A lot of people, when they eat foods, they think that they'll try to eat the animal as raw. Some people eat an animal while it's still living, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why we're dealing with, possibly dealing with this stuff right now, is because people eating an animal, a filthy animal, practically while it's still breathing. All right. So while it's still got its lifeblood in it, drain it and then put it in their soup or whichever, and making these different kinds of foods. Why? Because they think that they're consuming the animal's essence. Okay? That's once again, that's witchcraft. But they think that it's spiritual. So even in the things that you eat, people take that as a spirit, as a spiritual effort, a spiritual communion. All right. Things that so whether it's you see it, smell it, hear it, taste it, touch it. People seek spirituality in these things. Well, God's covered all those angles. And people seek spirituality in earthen objects like crystals. Definitely crystals.
Yes.
Runes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I used to be into that stuff. Maybe sometimes I wonder, it's like, God, did you let me do this crazy stuff just so I could be kind of familiar? Because y'all, I was in terms of like paganism, I was deep into that stuff, man. God just gave me something. He's like, yeah. You coming to grips with that yet? Because sometimes I'd be mad. I say, man, why did I go through all this nonsense? Why was I such a knucklehead? Why? And God's like, yeah, don't worry, man. I'll use that. Because you're going to be able to look back and say, you'll see me. You don't see me. Isn't it interesting that even Moses was raised in the familiarity of the gods that the Egyptians worshiped.
Oh, yeah.
He was raised in it.
True.
Right? Moses was very familiar with who their gods were. Yeah. Right? And he was the prime candidate to go and point to, this is how God is going to decimate your so-called gods. Right? Moses knew the whole score. So for me, it's like, yeah, Greek mythology was something that I was so familiar with Greek mythology at 10 years old that I was even invited to come give a lecture on it at a university in Redlands. All right. So I was freakishly interested in Greek mythology.
Wow.
Okay. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's kind of curious.
Just weird, So, but I was freakishly interested in Greek mythology. I got in, in paganism and stuff like that, and trying to be, one of these hippie cool kids, folk, looking at runes and crystals and all that sort of stuff. I was into that. Now I see why. I understand why God would implement himself in these things, because look, man, I know that people look for spirituality in these things.
Yeah.
If you're gonna look for a spirit, look for me.
Amen.
Right? So,
truth.
And the thing is, and it leaves us without an excuse. It's like God's like, I covered all the bases with you. All right. So, moving on, you are to make, take it from 12. Then Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, speak now to Bnei Israel, saying, surely you must keep my Shabbatot, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. Okay, this is where God is going to get seemingly so mean, right? Mean, oh God. That's right. Mean, oh God. Justified, though. All right. Throughout your generations, so that you may know that I am Adonai, who sanctifies you. Therefore, you are to keep the Shabbat, because it is holy for you. Everyone who profanes it will die. For whoever does any work during Shabbat, that soul will be cut off from the midst of his people. Work is to be done for 6 days, but on the 7th day is a Shabbat of complete rest. Shabbat for complete rest. To observe the Shabbat throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and Bnei Israel forever. This is going to be a forever thing, y'all. It ain't going to stop. All right. I'm going to explain that in a second, though. Check this out. It is a sign between me and Bnei Israel forever. For in 6 days, Adonai made heaven and earth. And on the 7th day, he ceased from work and rested. When he finished speaking with him on Mount Sinai, he gave the 2 tablets of the testimony to Moses, tablets of stone written by the finger of God. Mm-hmm. Remember, I keep always talking about that? Written by the finger of God. Remember, y'all, that's one of the reasons why people freaked out when they saw Jesus. When they brought that adulteress to him, and what'd he do? Just started writing with his finger. Y'all pointing to who he is. So you guys gonna bring this judgment? You gonna come to me for some sort of arbitration? You coming to me for that? Well, I just want you guys, you're coming to me because you know that I'm qualified to be her judge. I'm qualified to be all of your judges.
Amen.
I'm qualified to litigate this situation. I'm qualified for that because you know who I am. But just to really bring it home, I'm gonna start writing with my finger so you really recognize me. And they started dropping them rocks, didn't they? All right. Yeah. So, okay. Let's talk about the Sabbath, y'all, and why mean, oh God, will have you killed. So, y'all, let's take this incident with the coronavirus as an opportunity to see how actually we're all dead meat. Why? Because we hadn't been able to work. Now, of course, not just dead meat because it's going to make it hard for us to pay our rent.
Amen to that.
Right? Put food on the table and all that sort of stuff. But the commandment is, it's not, the full commandment isn't that you rest on the 7th day. The full commandment is that you work for 6 days.
Exactly.
Okay? Doesn't the word of God say you don't work, you don't eat?
Yeah.
God is saying, it's like, look, man, it ain't just about the day of rest. It's about the day of rest is very important. We'll get to that in a second. But the full commandment is that you work. Well, we've been kept from working. We're dead meat. Right? So now God is.
You mean Americans, not me and you, because we've been going about our business regularly.
but here's the thing, y'all. This is the issue with mean, oh God. See, God is there with them. God is there with them. They have no excuse to not work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With God there, they can observe the Sabbath ordinance in total. Ain't no excuse for them to not go to work. You wake up feeling bad, God can fix that.
Yeah.
God's like, you gonna go to work. All right. Just let him know. Say, hey, God, I ain't feeling that good. Can you hook it up? Right. I want to feel better so I can go to work. You go to work. Okay. In the presence of God, God was there with them. So there ain't no excuse for them to not go to work. All right. When you're in the kingdom, you can do that. But see, the thing is, y'all, in order to keep the Sabbath and the full ordinance of the Sabbath, you got to live in a perfect world. It's got to be perfect. There can't be no snow days. There can't be no sick days. There can't be anything like that. 6 days a week is 6 days a week. And when the seventh day comes, there shouldn't be anything that interferes with that. Sometimes things interfere, don't they?
True. Yeah.
Right? Because the world's not perfect. Things are going to get in the way, whether it's our fault or not, you know? So, but when you're with God, there's no excuse. They were with God, so there was no excuse for that. And that seventh day is supposed to be a day of perfect rest, y'all. And this is a statute that's going to go on forever. So, y'all, even when we're in heaven and stuff like that, we still got jobs. We still got a job to do. When Adam was put in the garden, he was given a job right off the bat. And it was good.
Yeah.
It was all good. He didn't mind. I said, yeah, man, I got me a good job. I got me good benefits and all that sort of stuff. I'm hooked up. So we're going to go to work. And then on the seventh day, after 6 days work is going to be awesome, y'all, because work is just, it's going to be always going to be fruitful work. Ain't gonna be no drama with people. Ain't gonna be no backbiting. Ain't gonna be no slander and all that sort of stuff. Everybody gonna be working. The vibe is always gonna be good because we're all gonna have the law written on our hearts. But we just gonna be straight with each other. It's gonna be all good, right? But then on the seventh day, we're gonna be able to rest perfectly, just chill, right, and just commune with God. Nothing's gonna get in the way. No distractions, right? Because even in the garden, God shows up on the seventh day. He's just cruising around the garden in the cool of the day. He came to fellowship with Adam and Eve, right? It was God's seventh day, right? And it only took Adam and Eve one day. All it took was one day, and they screwed everything up. All right. So it's gonna be that way with us, y'all. This is an eternal statute. We're gonna work, and we're gonna have a good time, and then it's gonna get even better when we just chill and just rest with God and just totally restored, rejuvenated, revitalized, you know? So, and people may be wondering, it's like, well, if we're all perfect, why would we need rest? I don't know. Hey, sleep is not a bad thing. Rest ain't a bad thing.
That's true.
Right? Even the word of God even says that God rests.
True. Yeah.
Right? So that's not a flaw. It's not a fault. It's not a state of something bad. You know, being able to rest is enjoyable. It's an enjoyable thing. All right.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we'll never. It's not something like, you know, being that we'll be in heaven. It's not like exhaustion is going to be something that we'll have to face. I don't think we're ever going to have to exert ourselves, you know, to a point of like such profound exhaustion. But you know, at a nominal degree, you know, there will be a need to rest. Like, say, for instance, and it doesn't mean that maybe even discomfort. But it's a kind of discomfort that'll be purposeful. A perfect example would be Eve. Eve, before the fall, was supposed to be able to have children. But even when she was going to have children, there was going to be some discomfort in having children. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that's kind of, it's kind of expected. We know that Eve was going to experience some discomfort with rendering child because God says, I will increase your suffering in bearing children. Yeah. All right. Increase it. He didn't say, I'm going to introduce a new thing of suffering with you having children. Yeah. He says, I'm going to increase it, which means that some discomfort was going to be expected before. So it's not like heaven is going to be like, you're not going to experience like, maybe like some sense of labor. The difference is, y'all, is that you will not labor in vain in heaven. Amen. Any labor that you put in is going to return, not void. You're going to get something out of it. All right. Yes. That's the difference. In heaven, on earth, we can toil and toil and toil and never wonder. It's like, is this ever going to yield any results? Yeah. You know? And everything that you work for can just fall out. Yep. It ain't going to be like that in heaven. You ain't never going to work for nothing in heaven. You going to work, but the ground is going to yield for you. Always. Yeah. All right. So now with the Sabbath, y'all, God puts in this statute about the Sabbath. Like I said, you're with him, so there's no excuse for it. Don't violate the Sabbath. And when you have the presence of God there and God is making these things evident to you and you go against that, you can't blame God for being a little angry. And this is the reason, y'all, this is the thing that makes God so angry about it, is once that snowball happens, when you can't just keep this simple thing and you step out of it, If you can't keep this one simple thing, you can't keep the heavy things. It's like God in the Garden of Eden. It's like, look, man, simple. This is my policy. You can have all this. Just don't eat from this tree. Can you handle that? Nope. God's just like, are you serious? Yeah, that would infuriate God. You had one job. I asked you one thing, man, one thing. Don't eat from this tree. You'll die. You couldn't keep that? Are you kidding me?
Right.
All right. So this right here, God's just like saying, look, man, 6 days you're going to work. You're going to rest on the Sabbath. And I'm here. You can't keep this? Are you serious? All right, now. So Yeshua shows up. And Yeshua is busted for working on the Sabbath. He's busted because his homies are hanging with him and they're eating the grain. Mm-hmm. All right. And they accused, and the Pharisees, the hypocrites, who are following Yeshua around and policing him, which means that they themselves are violating the Sabbath. Hello.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So they're trying to police Yeshua, and they're going to use this as an excuse to kill him. They want to add this violation as a means to execute Yeshua. All right. So now let me say this really quick. For anybody, like say for instance, I know we really like Ben Carson. I like Ben Carson too. Ben Carson is a Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah.
He's a religious man. That's different than being a God-fearing man. All right, it's a big difference. Seventh-day Adventist is a religion. And this religion is a religion that nobody really understands. The religion being the Sabbath itself. Nobody really understands. Not only does nobody really understand the Sabbath, I don't care who you are, Seventh-day Adventists or Jews. Okay? Because the Jews obviously didn't understand it, because based on that, they used that to kill Christ. So they definitely didn't understand it.
True.
All right. So not trying to downplay my Jewish brothers and sisters, but you know, it's just written. Okay. Now, Ben Carson and anybody else assuming that Seventh-day Adventist is a religion that you should follow, you do understand that that religion is based on a reason that was used to kill Christ. It is not a good idea, not a good idea at all, to follow a religion that is based on something that nobody really understands and is based on an excuse to kill Christ.
Oh, wow.
So nobody really understands what the Sabbath is, and you can't, because nobody can perfectly live out the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Because the world is imperfect. The only way we can perfectly live out the Sabbath is if God is there with us to make sure that we can live and work 6 days a week. But we can't perfectly work 6 days a week. So we're already in violation of the Sabbath ordinance. And then when it comes down to the Sabbath itself, there's going to be things that are going to get in the way of that. We can't keep it. Not here.
Wow.
All right. Nobody really understands the Sabbath and nobody can really follow it. And to build a religion on it is a big mistake. All right. So Seventh-day Adventists, that's a big red flag for me.
Yeah.
Big red flag for me to go down the Seventh-day Adventist road. So Yeshua, now, so why is it that, you know, we don't have like a fixed Sabbath day now? Why is it that it's like this arbitrary day now? Is it Saturday? Is it Sunday? You know, which day is it? Y'all, the thing is that the Lord himself has already explained that. I am the fulfillment of the law. All right. I've taken care of all of that. You don't have to see when it comes. I've come to free you from religion and observing the Sabbath. That's a religion. All right. In this earth, in this realm, the Sabbath is now a religion. I've come to free you from religion. I freed you from the Sabbath. All right. So that's why, and some people don't understand that, and which is proven by the fact that that's why some people do it on a Saturday. That's why some people do it on a Sunday, because they don't really know.
True.
Nobody really does. But what they really don't know is that Yeshua himself freed us from that, because he's the fulfillment of the law, which means that he fulfilled the Sabbath himself. He is the fulfillment of that.
Yes.
All right. And we're not going to have to. And if anybody thinks that going to church on Saturday or Sunday or mass or anything like that makes you even more holy, no, you missed the point. It's not on us to go to church. It's on us to be the church.
Amen.
That's what we're supposed to be. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. Going to church, I'm not saying that going to church is a bad thing. It's because we're supposed to have a sense of community.
Yes.
But if you think that going to church somehow makes you any closer to God, then you're sadly mistaken. Now you've turned into a ritual. Now you've turned into a religion.
True.
Right? And Jesus like, man, you guys missed the point. I came to free you from that.
Yes.
So now with the Sabbath, are we gonna get killed for not resting, or stoned or anything like that? No, not at this point, because God knows. Like, yeah, I'm not. You're not in my kingdom right now.
Yeah.
Right? You got a place in my kingdom. You're a Christian. You got a place in my kingdom, but I'm not there with you right now. All right. So when the Jews had didn't have that excuse of God not being there when he was there, Sabbath should have been an attainable thing. Yeah, it's not now. All right. So at any rate, I think we've covered 31.
That was good exploring the Sabbath. I've never thought about those points, actually.
Well, all right. Man, I hope the audio at least came out halfway decent after that. And once again, y'all, man, thank you for how you guys bear with me as I go through these technological issues.
Yes.
That I'm telling you, man, I test this stuff, before we go live, and then I go live and it just
something always happens.
I don't know what it is, but thank you guys for being as constant as these technology. You guys still show up, and I really appreciate that. Trying to get that last awesome
morsel
sip
of coffee,
right from the ZOpium Den, because it just makes everything taste so much better. And you can get one too. And speaking of support, y'all, the message is free, delivering it isn't, and we sure do appreciate the support. I know it's tough, y'all, in these times right now. And one of the reasons why the time is so tough, y'all, is because the truth is in such short supply out there.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe, and let me rephrase that. Not so much that it's in short supply, it's in short supply of getting it out there. Right? There's people out there that are trying to tell the truth, y'all, and the outlets are few.
Yeah.
And we need more support for that. We need more support for people who are, combating fake news with this.
Amen.
Not just combating fake news with conservative points of view. Right? Because even though we're, I reckon most of us are conservatives here. The thing is, conservatism itself still has to be based on something. You got to square conservatism by something. And a lot of people out there who are conservatives before they're Christians. I know what that's like. I used to be a conservative before I was a Christian. All right. But you got to base it on something. And a lot of people who are out there, promoting the news and trying to give you all the information and stuff like that, they're conservatives first. Right? Their country comes before the kingdom. Their conservatism comes before the kingdom. Yeah. All that sort of stuff. God is like back here. It's like, oh yeah, they're Christians. They'll pay some lip service to God or hat tip to God or something like that. But they want you to know that they're conservatives first. They're patriots first, and all that sort of stuff. All right. Oh, and it just so happens I'm a Christian too. Mm-hmm. And when we have things like that, y'all, that's when conservatism starts to get blurry. It starts to get shaky because there isn't that solid foundation to base it on.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. You got to have that fixed and eternal foundation of the word of God to base it on. And there's not enough of that out there. It's like between two extremes. You got Christians out there trying to promote truth, but the Christians want to do it. They want to be so apolitical about it. Yes. So much of that. They just think that God is on a throne. He's above politics and all that stuff. Y'all, the first policymaker is God. Yeah. Okay. To imagine that God is not about politics is very naive, right? He's the first policymaker. We just read God making policy, okay?
Right? Yeah.
so to say that God has nothing to do with politics is
very self-righteous.
It's very self-righteous. It's trying to put God into your own design, holy box.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got your Christians over here on one end, and then you got conservatives over here on the other that keep trying to leave out God.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the Christians over here want to leave out the politics. The conservatives over here want to leave out God.
Yeah.
And between the two, that's where we can't get this solid, blunt force of truth.
Right.
All right. And we need support for that. That's where misfits like me come in. I'm a misfit because I'm too conservative and political for the Christians, and I'm too Christian for the conservatives.
Yeah.
Right. Conservatives are still more friendly, way more friendly to the word of God than the Democrats and liberals are.
Amen that.
Right? We're still way more squared up there, but still a lot of conservatives, they got that ego where they think that their intellect is what's leading their charge. It's like, look, man, the Lord's got to go before me, right? You want to make sure, and even the word of God says, hey, man, you might not want to go out there without God. God's not with you on this. You might want to sit down, right? They went out without God anyway. They got their behinds handed to them. Okay? So God, that's my weapon. That's my leader. I got to lead with that. And, we need more of that, y'all. And I hope that y'all, will see that, we say it like we mean it, and find that, the productions that we're trying to do are worth supporting, so we can do more and put these in vehicles, very imaginative vehicles, without skirting away from the truth, without compromising the truth, compromising the message, give you really, really good imaginative, creative efforts, but not, not skimp on the truth, not cut corners on the truth.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So anything,
I was going to say, and if you have friends or family members who are godly people and they're conservatives, encourage them. If they're artistic in any way, encourage them to keep up with that artistic side, because it's really lacking in the Christian conservative community.
Right. Yeah. We got to have our artistic army too, y'all.
Amen.
There's an industry of creative liars out there.
Oh, yes.
And we need creative truth tellers.
Yes.
They're spellbinding people. Let's be spell breakers.
Amen.
I
love that. This is a funny one. Got two questions. First one is from Levi. Hi, Levi.
What's up?
He was asking, you're not old enough to be a hippie, are you? Because you said, you were a hippie.
I guess one of those next generation hippies, back in the...
We like to listen to like 70s music and
that's
Grateful Dead and Jimi Hendrix and all
that. That's my jam, right? I still love 70s music, late 60s music. But I was born in the 70s, and when that whole nostalgia thing came back in the 90s, late 80s, 90s came around, to get back into whole
when we were growing up in the 90s,
So it was one of those next generation hippies per se, but I wasn't around in the 60s though. No.
I wouldn't marry a man that much older than me. And then Brian was asking, do you think that you would want to be a pastor? Is that your calling?
It's not a pastor per se.
Speaking of creative conservatives,
Brian. What I'm talking about, right? Is no, just I want to be able to share scripture like in the medium that I'm doing, and then take these things and implement them into creative vehicles. That for me is what I would think is my calling.
You want to get the gospel out through entertainment,
right? I want to use these vehicles, that have been used to lie to people.
Yeah.
And use them to tell the truth to people.
That's
what I want to do. It's and blast that stuff out there as much as possible.
Yes.
I'm a student like you guys. I don't think of myself as a pastor per se. As I share this information, maybe it seems like I share from kind of like an authority point of view. That's me being a host. I host it, so I'm just reading the study and I'm sharing my thoughts, in our readings with you. Other than that, as far as being sorry if I'm taking like a long-winded answer, kind of like stepping on my feet with the answer. My objective, guys, is I just want to share the word, and this is the avenue that I have to do it. Right? I'm using what I got.
Yeah.
Ideally, I want to put this stuff into more creative media, and that's the objective.
Yes.
Whether it's music or whether it's visual, is what I'm trying to do.
Amen.
All right, folks, thank you again so much for hanging out with us in the ZOpium Den.
Yes.
And man, we'll maybe we'll get an exodus from Facebook and YouTube, or but at the end of the day, regardless of which, Maranatha.
I know, right?
In the meantime, the Lord's resolve, and strength and peace to y'all
Yes.
in Yeshua's name. And we'll see you next time. All right, blessings.